at Revelation chapter 13. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads. 7 heads is the 7 nations of the United Nations. And 10 horns. There you 10 horns again. 10 horns are the 10 military fighting forces of these nations, with 4 of the military fighting forces belong to the United States of America, which is the Army, Air Force, Navy, and Marine. And 10 crowns upon the heads, and blasphemy and blasphemy. The 10 crowns is that was up on these horns this time. He was not talking about 10 crowns was up on the head of the nation. These 10 crowns is the 10 commanders-in-chief of the military. This is the part of the brass, which was the brass of the image spoken of in Daniel chapter 2, which he said the belly was brass. These are the brass, but the 10 heads, the 7 crowns on Revelation chapter 12 was the head of gold and the head of silver. Those crowns belong to those nations. But the commanders in chiefs of the military, which God given dominion to, spoken of in Daniel chapter 2, where he said the brass will rule over everything, these are the commanders in chiefs of the 10 military fighting forces belonging to these 7 nations. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. His feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. The dragon is the weapon having nuclear capabilities. His nuclear weapon gave him the power to dominate in world wars. So, what we're talking about here, this connects you back with Daniel. The Daniel, as it started off with the lion, the bear is the warships. We go back there because they have flat feet, the aircraft carriers, and the one that carry bombs and heavy payloads there. That is the bear. But the leopard is also connect you to Daniel chapter 7, where the leopard had the 4 wings, which I could describe as the United States of America because they had 4 flying forces, which symbolized by the 4 wings in Daniel chapter 7. Chapter 7. So, what this leopard here is still bear the same characteristic. The United States is the only nation in the world that have a general population that have the same characteristics makeup as the leopard. The leopard is a creature with many spots, but none are the same. The personality of the United States of America bear those same exact characteristics. A people of many cultures and many nations, of religious and many tongues, which is all embodied in the United States, make up the general population of the United States of America, bearing the same characteristics as the leopard, but none are alike. So the leopard that had the body was the United States of America, meaning the United States of America is the chief ruler of these United Nations. They is the head of the nation. They're the strategists, and they are the commanders in chief ruling over these nations of the world. And his mouth as the mouth of a lion. That means, and the dragon gave him the strength. The lion is a beast that break and tear in pieces. So is this nation. This nation dominates. The lion dominates other animals of the wild. So in dominating prey. So is the United States of America and the United Nations. This is what this telling us in Bible prophecy. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. There was a racism in the United States of America where they did and they slaughtered people because of race, creed, and color. They made war on black people because of the color of their skin. This head was wounded to death, and it then came back alive again. It's acting out a racist hate. Here at the time, this was wounded to death, and it came back alive today. And they worship the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worship the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? who is able to make war. They worship the dragon, they worship nuclear weapons. You see North Korea trying to build nuclear weapons. You see Iran trying to build nuclear weapons. They worship in the dragon. This is the dragon, and they worship the power that the United States have because this nuclear weapon capabilities have made the United States and their allies the dominant nations upon the earth. They do anything they want to, and there's nothing to bring them to justice. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blaspheming, and power was given unto him to continue 42 weeks, 2 months. And he opened his mouth in blaspheming against God, and blasphemed his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in him. What this was about person, about the CIA. It tells you in Daniel chapter 7, the little horn with the little eyes who taken over, he spoke great things, and God hated him for that. He blasphemed, meaning the blasphemy of God is to take away the law of Moses, the daily sacrifice, and force them people to become a democratized nation. This was the blasphemy against God. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. He delivered World War III into these nations' hands, gave them power over that. This takes you back to Daniel chapter 2, where Daniel spoke to King Nebuchadnezzar and said God had gave him the kingdom over the whole earth, and that he was this man, had the head of gold, fine gold, the breast of silver, chest and iron on the silver, the breast of brass, and on the legs was iron, and feet part iron and part clay. He was telling him he was this nation, that he was going to come back in the end and dominate, because he was a person out of the Gentiles who were ruling this. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose name are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. You take this back to Genesis chapter 6, where the angels of God went into the daughters of men and bare children unto the daughters of men, and these became mighty men and giants in the earth. It will tell you that in Genesis chapter 6, 1-5, and that's what God was referring to, said they became mighty men in the earth. You will know them by the characteristics, and when the characteristics match with the character, you will understand that this was the Bible prophecy written from the beginning of time up until now, and you'll know that this could only be the work of God. Number 9, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience of the patient. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. This beast came about earth. This one came from the Middle East. This was not of this man of the Gentile. This beast was the governmental body that the United States placed over Afghanistan and Iraq, replacing Saddam Hussein. But they took on the law, they spoke as a dragon because they took on the law of democracy and abandoned the law of Moses. This is what is referring to Afghanistan and Iraq in Revelation 13:11. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose daily wound was healed. The racism, the daily wound was healed. And he does great wonders, so that he maketh fire to come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. In other words, they gave him authority. Once he had his authority, if they didn't take on the law of democracy, he'd call an airstrike, and they would bomb the people that didn't agree with this law of democracy, which was ordained by the United States of America. Now,